Well, it's been a while since I've been in this area. The last time I was here, I foolishly got scared out of here somehow. I don't know if I did it to myself or what happened, but there was just a lot of activity going on around me that kind of got me nervous, and I ended up hightailing it out of here. But I want to come back and check it out. I'm going to see what we see. Go for a nice little hike. This beautiful New Hampshire weather. Just off the road here, guys. Just started my hike. It is icy on these trails, boy. We had a melt, and then it froze, then it melted, then it froze again. Perfect conditions for these micro spikes I'm wearing. They really are perfect for this weather. But they're loud if you listen. They are loud, but I don't care. At least I'm not slipping all over the place. Hello, my friends. How are you? Hiker Dave here. So it's been kind of off and on snowing here today. It's supposed to be a nasty snow squall that's going to be ripping through my area. And I packed up right away. I said, oh, I got to get out on a snow squall. I love that kind of weather. They're talking about zero visibility. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't been out here since the time I got scared out of here. And I don't know if that was just me, but I had heard multiple things around me. I don't know what was going on. Then I had turned. I was leaving here. Something had fallen next to me or something, and I would swear something got thrown at me, but who knows? I scare the heck out of myself sometimes, and that possibly could have just been it. So I'm solo by myself. I let my big brother Bob. I let him know where I am, how long I'm going to be, when I'll be back out. Reception is spotty in this area, so if I fall and hurt myself or something, you know, I'll be crawling out of here. I said, listen, give me 2 hours. If I ain't back in 2 hours, send out the cavalry. Just kind of taking a look here. So I haven't been out here in a bit. There's a few things they look a little different. I think there's a lot of blowdown here that I'm seeing. Yeah, it's weird. This some of these trees, they just look like a mess, like something is climbing around in them or something. I noticed it right here on this side. I mean, this tree just looks beat up. It's fairly fresh, too. It's fresh stuff, but yeah, these trees just look beat up badly. Yeah, it could be weather related, of course. I was going to get out the other day. It was really nice out, but I mean, the wind was at 30, 40, 45 mile an hour wind gusts, and that really makes for an uncomfortable hike, to be honest with you, because not only do I worry about widowmakers, limbs that are hanging precariously, and then all it takes is a gust of wind to come and knock a big fat limb onto the top of your skull cap. I can't hear anything around me, or it's so noisy that, you know, I could have a large predator stalking me and I wouldn't even know it. And there are bear up here, and coyote, and I know there's mountain lion up here, and I don't know if any bear has come out of hibernation yet, or maybe come out early because they're hungry. But when it's so windy like that, not only does it make for a crappy audio for a video, it's an uncomfortable feeling when it's that noisy like that. So where do I want to go here? That's the way I went last time. You know what? I think I'm going to take this way. And I'm going to make a loop that goes out. It comes all the way around. And it goes way out to the other side. And then loops through a field and then comes back. And I can actually come back on this trail. So I think I'll take that. These are interesting tracks. Look at that. They are dead straight in a line, and they're like 4 feet apart. You know, one there. It does look like kind of a foot shape, a boot shape, but another one there, but they're dead straight in a line, which is odd because we don't usually walk that way. But you got this one here. There's a faint one. But that is deep in the snow. That is really deep in the snow. This one is very light. But that one, that's a huge stride. Another one 4 feet up here. That is a really, really big, long stride. Wow. I mean, my stride, it's only a 1.5 feet apart. This guy, maybe he's running, but you got one there, and then this one here. Well, it could be nothing, guys. I just find that. That's a long stride right there. That is, let me take a little count here. Let me try to mark off how many feet that might be. So I'm going to go like this. Right next to it is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 feet. 4 feet between strides. Wow. That's a serious stride right there. That's impressive. While I'm out here, I wanted to talk to you guys too. I mentioned a strange thing that happened to me, finding that stick in the road, or that branch in the road sticking up, and then when I had turned around to get a better look at it, it was gone. It was on this long dirt road. And David Politis had talked about it before, that him and his wife ran into something similar to that on a hiking trail. And there's a couple of things that he has talked about on his channel in the past year or so, or whatever. And as people email him and tell him their stories of strange things that happened to them, and he keeps coming up with stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, that happened to me. Oh, that happened to me. And then I'll hear a month later, someone will write in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that happened to me. And it's like, and I find that interesting because a lot of that, some things that happen after, time goes by, and you just kind of slough it off as just a strange thing, and you just kind of forget about it, right? Well, these things that he kind of was talking about that I can relate with, I can't get them out of my mind now, and some of them I've never talked about before on the channel, or I might have in a video out in Hockomock Swamp or something, which is where one of my most bizarre occurrences ever happened. Hiking out in the Hockomock Swamp, right smack dab in the middle of the Bridgewater Triangle, right in the Taunton Raynham area by the Raynham dog track. and there's this long straight road. A lot of weird stories from even just that road. It's called Route 138, and it's long and dark, and a lot of Bigfoot sightings and dogman and pterodactyls and swamp gas, and there are ancient burial grounds out there like 5,000 years old and things like this. Crazy stuff that, not that that's crazy, it's ancient burial site is not crazy, but the combination of stories. And I had to go out and I had to hike this place. So I packed up, made my plans, and I went out there. And my first time out there, I was all by myself. I got to tell you the story about what happened. So I got out to out to Hockomock Swamp. I parked on the side of the road. There's like this access road that follows power lines, and you go in a mile or so, and you come to a split in that dirt road, and you could go left or right, and it's just this long dirt, kind of, not maintained road out in the middle of the swamp. And I'd say it was about 9:30 in the morning. I packed up my stuff, got all my gear ready. I wonder what happened to that. There's a trail that way. Obviously I'm gonna go right here. There is a trail though right there that goes out to the river, but I'm sorry. So I get out there, so I would say I began my hike about 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. And first, let's just talk about this. So I get out there, I hike, I don't know, for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most, because I was by myself and I was just kind of getting to know the area a little bit. And when I got back to my I had my van at the time. I get back to my van, and it was 4 hours had gone by. I couldn't believe it. I could not. It was. Yeah, I get in there at 10. I got back to my vehicle. It was like 2:30, and that's when my favorite talk radio show comes on, a sports radio talk show, and there's a couple guys on there that I like to listen to, and they go from 2 o'clock and they go for 4 hours. So I had plenty of time, and when I got to my van, that show was already on. I'm like, how can this possibly be? I know what I hiked. I had a Camelback. I know how much I drank. It was dead summer, right in the summertime. I barely had drank any of my water. I didn't think I might have made a video that day. I'll have to go back and check it out, but there was no way I hiked for 4 hours. There's no way. I know that at the maximum 2 hours I was out there. I was only out there for 2 hours. Somehow I got back to my vehicle and 4 hours had passed. And in my mind, I'm like, how am I missing potentially two and a half hours? Very strange. I didn't really tell anybody about that for a while because I'm like, okay, maybe I misjudged the time. But the more I think about it and the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, there's no way that I was out there for 4 hours. I even know my route, where I took it, and I was going slow. And I remember at the time of me saying, okay, I'm going to turn around. I'm hiking in a strange area here. I had a couple strange things happen to me, which I'm going to get into in a minute. How I was out there for 4 hours, no way, Jose. There is not a chance. I would have went through all my water in my Camelback. There's no way that I spent 4 hours out there. And yet, where's that missing time? I don't understand it. It really was a short hike. I don't know. But that's not the only thing that happened to me on that hike. So on that hike, I remember it clearly. I had come to the, like a four-way intersection, kind of, you could say, in the woods. And I just happened to pick left. I said, okay, I'll go left. At another time, I'll go the way. So I'm walking and I'm walking. And that's when I, like I had said, I got to a point where I had said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to go any further. I'm completely had no protection with me. I was by myself, getting really strange, weird feelings like, I don't know, like electric or something was going through. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I had turned around and I'm going back and I'm taking my time and I start hearing voices. I don't know what they're saying. I can't understand a language, but I'm hearing voices and it sounds like a group of people. And, they're just around the bend. I'm like, okay, I'm going to run into a group of people, 4 or 5 people maybe, and, we're going to say, hey, how are you, how you doing, such and such, and then be on our way. And I kept hearing it. I'm like, again, I can't tell what's being said. And as I'm walking, the voices stayed consistently a distance that's consistent, that never changed. And I'm like, okay, maybe they're up ahead of me, right? And we're just walking at the same pace, maybe. So I round the bend where I'm expecting, okay, there's a straightaway on the trail. And I'm thinking, I'm going to see this group of people ahead of me, maybe 40 yards or something like that. I round the bend and there's nobody. There's no one on the trail. But yet I'm still kind of hearing these group of people talking. Again, I don't know what they're saying. And on the hike back to my van, those voices were consistent until I hit that 4-way I was telling you about, where the two dirt roads intersect. And I just didn't hear it anymore. And now I can see at the 4-way, clearly I can look in all directions. All 4 ways I can look, nobody's out there. I'm completely by myself, as far as I know. And I didn't hear the voices anymore. And I'm like, what? Am I going crazy? But that was something that David Politis had. He had a couple of people email him with stories just like that. And that, again, was something I kind of put out of my mind. When it happened, it was really weird, but I just kind of was like, that's just weird, move on, get over it, Dave, right? But when he's getting multiple emails about the very exact same thing, that's just weird. I don't care who you are, that's weird. Okay, so here's that other trail where if I had taken a right instead of a left, this is where it comes out. And so that'll be the way I go back. I just came this way here along the river. So when I head back this way, I'm going to take that way. It'll be a little different scenery. So anyways, back to another thing, that strange thing that happened to me before. And it was something that was emailed to David Politis. And again, another instance where I'm like, that same thing happened to me. What is going on? Just as a side note, every time I forget the windsock for the microphone, it's all of a sudden it's windy. Today I'm expecting wind. I come out here, dead calm. But I do have it this time. Just a side note. So, okay, on to the next strange thing. And this happened to me very recently here up in New Hampshire, on a road that is right next to my research area, or whatever research, but to my area that I like to go into, where I have found multiple teepee structures. And this was right up, if where it happened would have been right where I would have turned to come into the area that I'm speaking about. The weather is rapidly deteriorating, and I love it. Oh boy, I'm telling you, I love these micro spikes. No slippage with these things. Look at those prints. Exactly how does that happen? And then how does that happen? These things are all by themselves out here. Look at that, huh? Wow. Those are just all by themselves out here with nothing else around them. Look at this. Let me get a better view for you guys. Those are just all by themselves here. That's odd, to say the least. Boy, did it suddenly just get really dark out. Okay, let me just get a closer look, and then I'm going to tell you about my other experience. Wow, that was weird, huh? How does these tracks happen, but there's no other tracks around them? Like something got dropped from the sky or got picked up from the sky. Anyways, so I was driving down this road, and as I'm driving, the speed limit is 35, and it jumps up to 40. And I was looking down at my speedometer, and then looked up, and this is going to sound insane, guys. So crossing the street in front of me was this see-through, it looked like saran, like a 7-foot piece of saran wrap was floating by me. Okay, I'm not kidding. As soon as it happened, I was like, and then I just drove by it, and whatever it was just was, when I saw it, it was at the double yellow line. So it must have been in front of me when I had looked down at my speedometer. And when I had looked up from my speedometer, it was already halfway across the road. And it just went off to the side of the road, right where my favorite spot to hike is. And I thought, there's no way that this is happening right now. I didn't just see that. I thought, this is crazy. And I'm still driving. I was headed into a different part of town, and the whole time driving, I'm like, I didn't see that. What did I see? I did see it. I saw something. What did I just see? And I'm like, okay, my mind's playing tricks on me. I've never seen anything like that before. But it was like the Predator thing. It was that same. I could tell that there was a shape, but I could see through it. Really, I mean, just insane, guys. And then this was only 4 months ago, I want to say. I just couldn't understand. I just can't understand what that is. What I don't understand it. But when I heard David Paulides talk about it, I'm like, hey, there's that's else that happened to me. Same thing, that somebody had emailed in about something very similar. And I'm like, that same thing happened to me. Very crazy, guys. You know, I know what I saw, okay? I know that I'm not going crazy. I know I saw this thing. Really, really strange. Just another strange event that people had written in on more than one occasion to David Politis about something really odd. And I seen one too. And it was, as far as where I am right now, it was right in this area. Really, really strange to see. It almost looked like a heat, like, you know, you ever look down a road, a cement road, and the heat's coming up, and it's like a wavy, but it was form. It was big, 7 feet, maybe 8 feet, and there was no bounce to it or anything. It just kind of went whoosh, right across the road in front of me. I don't know. No idea. But the weather is turning bad really fast. Whew. All right. I think I've gone far enough. I have turned around. I'm getting the heebie-jeebies. Wow, the weather just has turned insane. I knew this was coming. I'm not surprised. I prepared for it. I'm dressed for it. I hope it doesn't ruin my phone. I hope it doesn't ruin my microphone. Let's make like a tree and get out of here. Something like that. Wow, this weather, boy, just gotta love New Hampshire. Now this squall, what I had seen, oh man, I'm sorry about the professionality, guys. I just want to make sure the screen's not all gunktified. Yeah, I knew this was coming, and this squall is like this band. This like band of snow squall, nasty, heavy, heavy snow. It's only supposed to last about an hour. I said, oh, what better place to be during something like that than out in the woods, right? All by yourself. Gotta love that. All right, I gotta clean my microphone off and the phone. Unbelievable. My phone just went from 87% battery to 15%. The phone's right now about to die. I don't know how that happens. It's not like it's too cold. It's like 27, something like that. I don't know how. It was fully charged when I left. I made sure that I had a fully charged battery. Now it's at 15%. It just shut itself off. Completely shut itself off. When I get back to the barn, I'm going to finish. I have a couple more strange, odd things that have happened to me out hiking the past 7 or 8, 9 years or so. I'll be back. Unbelievable. I really should probably save the 15% on my battery in case something happens if I fall or hurt myself, but you know what? That is frustrating. This forest never ceases to amaze me. I'm telling you right now. Well, that was interesting. I got home. My phone was, when I was coming out of the woods, my phone just dropped to like 12% or 15%. By the time I got home to the barn, it was at 2%. And so I plugged it in, and I could not figure out why the battery would be deleted so quickly. I don't understand what happened there. That hasn't happened to me in a while, where I was at Gary's last week, videoed for a couple of hours out there, walking around, had no problem with the battery life. I don't understand really what happened there, but I did plug it in, and I wanted to send a text. So after 5 minutes of the phone charging, I kind of just checked it to see if I had enough power on the battery to shoot somebody a text. And it was up to like 72% in like 5 minutes. Very weird. Just strange is all I'm saying. Also, those tracks in the snow I was showing you guys, it could have been anything. I'm not claiming anything crazy. Just, it was strange. That's all. I thought it was odd. But I did want to just tell you guys about one more odd thing that happened now that I got my phone charged up again. It's kind of interesting. So this happened a few years ago now. I want to say 4, 4 or 5 years ago. This story takes place back in the Hockomock Swamp again. So after I had that little missing time, I crazily said to my son, "You got to come out here with me. This place is crazy." So I went with my son, his half-sister, and another friend of ours. So there was 4 of us all together. And I took them down that same thing, parked on that long straightaway, right in the middle of the Bridgewater Triangle, parked on the side of the road. We hiked all the way into that 4-way intersection, dirt intersection, like I said last time, and we did the same thing. I took a left, and I wanted to show them, guys, this area. It's kind of weird, right? It's just a strange area. You get these weird vibes out there. So it was hot. We all had water. I had a Camelback, a couple liters of water. They had a few bottles of water each. And we were just following this road and following it for I don't know how long we walked down this road. And we finally came to a spot where it opened up, and we had decided, okay, we've hiked enough. Everybody was getting kind of tired. It was like maybe 1 in the afternoon at this point. And we said, let's head back, because we had been hiking a couple of hours. Obviously, it's going to be a couple of hours coming out of there. When I'm informed by my son and his sister and the friend, they're out of water. So I said, okay, well, I've got water left. So we'll just kind of ration it out as we go. We're going to be okay. No one's dying of thirst out there. And we started heading back the way we came. And sure enough, 10 minutes of walking back, 3 water bottles are right next to the trail. 3 unopened bottles of water. Granted, they were warm. They weren't cold or anything. And we're looking at each other like, you've got to be kidding me. They ran out. We needed 3 bottles of water. 3 bottles of water were there. They were not there when we hiked past that area. They weren't there. They were obviously right there. And we would have seen them. That was the first strange thing. And we're just like, we were psyched. We got water. We were psyched. We had enough water to so there's nobody was thirsty. So we're heading back, and we're about maybe halfway back now. And we come to this little area where this brook runs under the dirt road, and there's a little wall you could sit on. And we decided, let's take a break. And we're sitting on the wall, and my son is sitting kind of off to the side along the bank of this small little pond. It's pretty small. And we're talking to each other, and all of a sudden, a limb falls into the water. Splash! This big limb was like, what the heck? And my son's looking at me like, okay, that's weird. And we're like, all right, let's get ready to get back on the trail. Just then, another smaller limb falls. The end of it hits my son. Just out of nowhere, like, what is going on? And we just thought that was a very strange thing to happen. That I don't know. I saw tree breaks. Couple of weird things that looked out of place, but it was strange. My son gets hit by the branch. He goes, that's it. He goes, Dad, we're out of here. And that's another strange occurrence that had happened to me in the past. That Bridgewater Triangle area, that Hockomock Swamp, is definitely a strange place. I've had other strange things. I could go on. The figure that was behind me on Bald Mountain, that was strange. If you want to check that out, I never saw anybody. I never saw it until I think I was editing I wasn't even editing the video. Somebody commented on the video and said, what the heck is that behind you? I'm saying, what do you mean? And this weird figure steps out of the woods. The name of that video is Bigfoot is the boss of this mountain. Really strange occurrence. Stuff was being thrown at me. Pebbles, pine cones, stuff like that. And I said, that's it. I'm out of here. And I jetted pretty quickly off that mountain. I was by myself. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of some strange things that have happened to me that have reminded me, watching David Paulides, other people writing in about that. Really weird. And then today with the phone, with my battery on my phone, I don't understand. I've never had my phone go from 2% to like 70-something% in 5 minutes either. So it's like it died and then charged just as quickly as it died. Really odd. But thank you guys very much for clicking on the video. I really do appreciate it. And I'll definitely see you on the next one.